Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
It's a special episode celebrating modern families challenging the norm. We're talking with a polyamorous trio helping other couples transition to a lifestyle with multiple partners. Then we speak with two women who decided to become single mothers by choice. Plus, a widow trying to get pregnant using her deceased husband's sperm is sharing her emotional IVF journey. And the story of a unique blended family who call themselves the Fruity Bunch.
Eventually, they were just like, are you going to come out of the closet or what? I'm like,
Yes, welcome to a very special episode of DBL. But before we get to that, today is the American Heart Association's National Wear Red Day. That's right, which is why we're dressed just like this. The Go Red for Women movement is meant to highlight the importance of heart health, since heart disease remains the #1 killer of women across the country. For more information, visit goredforwomen.org. All right, so today is a special, very special episode because we are talking about modern families across the country and looking what a family looks like in 2023. The cultural landscape has been shifting for years. Over 16% of households in America are blended families. Same-sex households have nearly doubled since legalization to almost 1 million nationwide. And a new study shows that 1 in 3 adults have used fertility treatments, or you know someone who has. And while the traditional, and I say that in quotes, family still makes up the majority of households, the amount of non-traditional families has been growing exponentially in recent years. And today, we're going to hear some of their incredible stories. Yes, 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 very exciting. All right, so up first, we're going to talk about polyamory. In basic terms, polyamory is a form of consensual non-monogamy. This could include things like an open marriage, which we have all heard of at least once. And while this seems unusual to most, there are millions of people in America in polyamorous relationships. And we have some experts on the lifestyle here to tell us all about it. So joining us now, she's the founder of Progressive Love Academy and author of several books, including Change Your Man. Not only that, she's in an open relationship with not one husband, but two husbands. So here to talk all about the poly life, please welcome Kenya K. Stevens and her partners, Carl and Tiger. Welcome to the show.
thank you.
Hi, welcome.
So nice to have you. So Kenya, you are in an open marriage with both Carl and Tiger. So what led you to this lifestyle and creating Progressive Love Academy?
Well, Carl and I have been married for 27 years, and I've been married to Tiger for 10 years. And so what we're doing has started a long time ago, over 25 years ago. And I think it started when I actually had a bout with cancer, and I felt like my life was on the line. And at that time, I decided that I'm going to live for me. You understand? If I were to survive, which I did, thank God, because we have 3 children, I said I was going to live for me. And we started to work together to formulate a new kind of marriage, an open marriage, a marriage where there's more freedom. And we call it actually a freedom-based relationship.
That's smart. That's interesting. All right, let me ask you something. What was it about monogamous relationships that didn't work for you? And how is monogamy limiting for you guys?
Well, you know, monogamy, we think is great for people who are going to choose to be with one partner. I think it's wonderful. We found the culture of monogamy to be the issue. So in most monogamous marriages, you don't have real trust. People really can't tell each other how they really feel or what they really want to do. That's why you have the high cheating rate. It's just people who are not able to really trust their partner and to communicate what they really feel, what they really want. So we didn't like the culture of monogamy. But we feel if people want to be exclusive with their partner, it's a great option.
So I need to ask Carl and Tiger here, and I think a lot of people at home want to know, how do you handle jealousy? Can you learn to just flip a switch on and off?
It's not so much a flipping the switch on and off. You just kind of learn utilizing tools on what feels appropriate and what may be a little extreme. We're always in that moment of feeling jealousy and the moment of, I don't want my partner to do this, or, this makes me feel a certain way. Once you start to really adjust and to learn what those feelings are, you kind of open up a little bit at a time until you finally get to a point where you are able to allow your partner to have experiences that before you would never allow them to have.
Carl, do you agree with Tiger?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, when I first had the jealous feelings when we opened our relationship, I had to ask myself, why am I feeling this way? Like, what's the source of me feeling this way? And I found out that I had a lot of misplaced, I guess priorities in terms of where I placed my manhood and where I placed my self-worth and self-love. And I had that all placed in how I would appear to be in society relative to my wife, Kenya, and whether she was loyal to me or monogamous to me and that kind of thing. And that doesn't really define who I am. So I had to really deal with, loving myself more, really understanding who I was as an individual. And once I kind of started resolving those types of things, it wasn't really as challenging to allow and to accept that other people are going to live their lives and they feel how they feel.
Beautiful. I mean, you guys are taking the ego right out of it. I don't know if I could do that.
I wouldn't even be able to let my wife be with someone named Tiger. I'd be like, no, it's Bob or nobody.
I think you could do it. I think what we do is we, we teach this nationwide, worldwide. We share these techniques and principles with thousands of couples all over the world through Progressive Love Academy. And you're saying, I can't do it. But that's what everyone says when they start. And then they learn how to live an authentic life, learn how to tell the truth, learn how to embrace the truth of others.
Yeah, your honesty is refreshing. This one is for Kenya. How open is your relationship? Is everyone allowed to see other people? Are there rules or boundaries? Tell us.
Oh, everyone in my relationships are allowed to see other people. And I don't like the word allowed because we're all really human adults. Slavery's over. We're allowed to do whatever we want. So yes, as adults, all three of us have outside partners as well as our marriage here with the three of us.
Any rules quickly?
We have 4 principles. We believe rules are for fools. We don't believe in a philosophy of rules. Rules are meant to be broken. So we've never created rules, but we do have principles by which we live. So we have 4 of them if you want to know what they are.
I don't know if we have time. Do we have time for the 4 principles quickly? Can you just list them?
Absolutely. No shame and no blame. No victims and no villains, no cop-outs and no dropouts, and the purpose of our relationship is growth, GROWTH.
There you go. Thank you, Kenya, Carl, and Tiger. It has been amazing hearing about your lifestyle and telling the world your story. DBL Nation, follow Kenya at Progressive Love Academy, or maybe check out one of her 12 books, incredible, by the way, that she has written at progressiveloveacademy.com. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up on DBL on this special Modern Families edition of DBL, a fertility and adoption expert will be here live to talk about the challenges people face when becoming a parent. Plus, a blended family with 2 exes and a new person in the mix. We talk with the Fruity Bunch next. Welcome back. We are continuing our Modern Families episode with a love story unlike any we've heard before. Earlier, we spoke with Linda Fruits and her family, the Fruity Bunch. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Linda Fruits, and I am the girlfriend of Maddie and ex-wife to Christopher.
Linda Fruits was married to Christopher for 8 years when something felt different.
I came out when I was 32 years old, about 2 years ago, and we decided that we still wanted to stay living together and raise our kids as a family still under one roof.
Originally feeling she was bisexual, Linda started dating before realizing she was in fact a lesbian.
And so I came out to Christopher as lesbian, and at that point we're like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. Shortly after, I met Maddie. We fell madly, deeply in love.
On their second date, they started talking about having a child together.
So we kind of passed around the idea of Christopher being the donor and thought about, would that be weird? He said yes, he would like to, but there were things that we needed to kind of go over, right? It's kind of a big decision. So we did. And she now lives with us in the same house with all of our kids and is pregnant with my ex-husband's baby.
Now, 6 months pregnant, the three of them are telling their Modern Family story on the blog Fruits of Motherhood, calling themselves the Fruity Bunch. And their journey is just beginning.
Please welcome to the show Linda Fruits, Maddie, and Christopher. You call yourselves the Fruity Bunch.
Yeah, the Fruity Bunch. So Linda, let's get right into it, because you were married and had kids before realizing that you were a lesbian. So when was the moment you knew you needed to change your life?
I realized that I was kind of hiding stuff from him via TikTok. I was watching a couple TikToks and I realized I found myself on lesbian TikTok, and I was like hiding it. And my friends, I would send them TikToks and be like, she's hot, right? It's not just me. And they'd be like, yeah. So I carry on with my life. And then eventually they were just like, are you going to come out of the closet or what? I'm like, it's time to talk to my husband.
Well, I'd like to talk to your husband. Christopher, just shout out to you for this is real love, man.
Yep.
I hope you realize like how great this is. But we have to talk about the reality, man. What were your thoughts when you first heard this?
Honestly, I supported it from the start. I was fortunate enough to grow up around gay and lesbian people, and due to my parents being so cool about it, everybody deserves to be their authentic self. So when Linda came out, I supported it. Yes, it was an end to one aspect of our relationship, and yes, that hurt, but you get over it. And at the end of the day, our kids are the most important. So
yeah.
That is acceptance.
That's lovely.
Literally.
Yeah.
You all are so inspiring. I need to ask Maddie, how did you feel, though, about involving Christopher in this entire process?
I remember Christopher sitting right there.
Yeah. He's always sitting right there.
I love it.
No, it was, obviously I never imagined myself in a situation like this, but I love where I'm at, and I love our team here, our crew, and I couldn't even really picture us without him at this point.
That's lovely. All right, so let's talk about your family, which I'm obsessed with, the Fruity Bunch. How did your kids react when you told them? Some kids get it, some kids have a harder time. Telling you were all going to have a new child all together, all three of you.
But what kid doesn't want to join something called the Fruity Bunch?
I know.
I'd be like, I'm in. But I don't know
gum?
what it is. Is candy involved?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we told them about the new baby, they were so excited. My eldest, he said that he wants it to be a little girl because we don't know the sex of the baby yet, because he has a brother already. And if you know Owen, he is a lot of brother to have.
Owen.
We have enough brother.
Yeah, he's a lot. He's a lot.
More female energy in here.
Yeah. Estrogen in here.
Poor Al. So
We don't know the gender of the baby.
So what does family mean to you, and how would you consider yourselves a modern family?
Well, family to us definitely is a choice. We continue to choose ourselves, choose each other, and show up for each other every single day for our kids. And it definitely qualifies as modern because it is out of the social norm, so to speak. And we're doing things our way. I think that's what modern really means.
Your love jumps off the screen. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us. DBL Nation, you can follow Linda at Fruits of Motherhood and also pre-order her book, The Mom Life, on Amazon now.
Congrats.
Linda, Maddie, Christopher, thank you so much. We appreciate you all. We'll be right back.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back. There are many different ways people can become parents, and it's not always an easy road. But who can families turn to when they are faced with infertility or the adoption system? Well, we have an expert joining us live to help. Fertility and adoption expert Dawn Davenport. Welcome to DBL.
Hi there, Dawn. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I want to know what drew you to become an expert on some of the challenges people face in becoming a parent.
Well, my family is created through birth as well as adoption. So there is the personal connection, but I'm also the executive director of the nonprofit Creating a Family. And our mission is to support foster, adoptive, and kinship families.
That's fantastic.
So, Dawn, do you think there's a point when couples should stop trying to conceive if they are experiencing fertility issues?
Well, I mean, every couple has got to, or person, doesn't have to be a couple. Every person has to make their own decision, obviously. But it really does ultimately come down to a balancing act. And you have to weigh your odds of success versus the cost. And the cost can be both financial, obviously, but also emotional.
So, Dawn, for people that don't know, what are some of the options for people who are considering adoption?
Great question. There are 3 types of adoption. A lot of people don't realize that. There is domestic infant adoption, and that's where a pregnant woman or couple make the decision that they're not going to be able to parent this child and seek another couple, and usually work through an adoption agency to do that. But there's also adopting from foster care. There's over 100,000 kiddos in foster care right now that are awaiting families. They tend to be older or part of sibling groups. And then there's international adoption, adopting from a foreign country.
I'm so glad that people have someone like Dawn to help them navigate. I have to ask you, Dawn, how much does race, sexuality, orientation, and being single play a part in the adoption process?
Well, it kind of depends on the type of adoption we're talking about. As far as race, there is a need for Black and brown adoptive parents in domestic, infant, and foster families. So we can only encourage more families to apply, so there's definitely a need. Sexual orientation, there's been a big shift in the last, say, 10 years. It mirrors the shift in our society, acceptance of the LGBTQ community. And honestly, there really isn't much of a discrimination. Most parents who are looking for domestic infant are open, or many of them are open to same-sex couples, and same with foster. So there really isn't much discrimination. I suspect, I don't have data on this, but I suspect that the trans community would still be facing discrimination, although again, I can't say that. Now, singles, it's a little different. For single women, a lot of the women who are considering placing a child are single themselves and are looking for a two-parent family to place their child. So I do think it takes a little longer for single women, and I think there is a prejudice against single men. However, for foster adoption, honestly, a lot of kids would do better with a single parent. So there really isn't much discrimination there.
Wow. A lot of people in the chat, just so you know, are talking about adoption and how they're interested and how much this is helping. So
thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. And to DBL Nation, please visit creatingafamily.org for more info about infertility and the adoption process. Plus, also check out the Creating a Family podcast. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Dawn. We'll be right back. DBL is all new every day. Stacy says, great show. I love when you have theme episodes. Now, in regard to the Fruity Bunch, Jessica says, wow, what compassion that husband showed for his ex. I commend them staying together as a family for their kids.
I also thought I would have so much more anger. And maybe I wouldn't in the real situation, but Christopher seemed so okay with it, and maybe it took time. But I know that I would probably have a lot of anger, and he was very composed and very happy.
One common theme that we've seen is that almost like the removal of ego. My ego would get in the way.
Yep, totally. Me too.
Mine too.
Yeah.
And I don't think, the one question I have for everybody is like, my wife doesn't want two of me around the house, you know what I mean? So
it wouldn't be two of you.
You don't want
It'd be like somebody to balance you out.
You don't want two wives.
I don't even want a cat. Like, I don't want anything. The less, the better.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, dailyblastlive.com.
It's great.
Or our DBL mobile app. But if you get the second half of the show where you are, here's what's ahead on this special Modern Families edition of DBL. Two women who began their journey to motherhood in their 40s are telling us why they decided to become single mothers by choice. And a widow trying to get pregnant using her deceased husband's sperm joins us to share her emotional IVF journey.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Get real.
No. Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to a special episode of Daily Blast Live. Now, when I say the word family, what comes to mind? It's different for all of us, and today on DBL, we are showing you different ways people are finding their family. Let's be honest, the evolution of the American family is definitely something we've seen on TV. It started with the Cleavers on Leave It to Beaver and the Brady Bunch, all the way up to today with shows like Modern Family and Blackish showing us family units that are generational, LGBTQ+ and biracial. What do you think about the evolution of family when it comes to television?
I think it mirrors the societal climate. And I think we've seen that when I talk about the will and gracification, as Al always says. When did that become accepted into gay Americans into people's lives? When you got to know one on TV, and that really helps. So I think television reacts to how we are taking it, and I think it goes back and forth. It's a symbiotic relationship, but TV is a good example of where the country is at the moment.
What do you think, Jeff?
I think Tori's right. Yeah, it's starting. Yeah, I mean, it is, right? You have to be diverse in what you're putting out there. People like different things. It doesn't mean we need to jam all of it into one television show. There's so many options out there, whether it be cable or streaming, whatever it is. There's options for other people to watch. Even when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't that many options. So for people now, if they feel some sort of way or have some sort of situation that a lot of people don't have, there's a reflection of that in television.
Yeah, I think what it really does is show us how much representation matters, and from both sides. Because, if we're talking about LGBTQIA plus community, that gave people who maybe didn't have an accepting family the idea that, outside of this small place bubble that I'm living in, there are people who not only accept me, but appreciate me. And now I'm going to create a family with more like-minded individuals. And so just the idea that people were transported out of their tiny little bubbles and realized there's a bigger world out there with more diversity of people is so important. That's why we need to see different examples of different types of people.
Well said. Well, speaking of modern families, our next guest became a widow at 29 after losing her husband to cancer, but their love story is far from over. Take a look.
You may find that you begin to measure your life before and after they left, and that's okay. Just be sure that whatever you do, whatever tiny grain of strength that you have left, that you strive to fill up the after as richly and as beautifully as they helped you fill up the before. The before is committed to memory now, but the after is totally up to you. Make it count.
Oh my God. Wow, I'm in tears. I think we all are. Please welcome Fabi Powell to the show. Thank you so much, Fabi, for sharing your story with us. Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for having me.
We got very emotional. But it's beautiful because let's go back to, you lost Josh in 2016, and a couple years ago you decided to do IVF with the sperm he froze before his cancer treatment. So what did he tell you about having a family before he passed?
Josh and I always knew that we wanted to be parents one day. We're both very family-oriented people. And when we found out that his cancer was terminal, he sat me down after that appointment and said, "What about our babies?" And basically gave me his blessing to move forward with creating our family that we both dreamed of having, with or without him here.
Wow. So it's been 6 years since you lost Josh. Why do this? Why do this in the first place, right? Because you talked about it 6 years ago. And why now?
I wanted to give myself a chance to find love again. Love is something that's very important to me, and family is very, very high up on my value list. I gave myself a chance to date and just see if that would come first. And I learned quickly that it's not easy to find a Josh, a person that you not only want to spend the rest of your life with, but start a family with, and to be the father of your children. And after COVID happened, I had some time to think and realized, I have the rest of my life to fall in love. I don't have the rest of my life to start a family in the way that I would like to. And having Josh's blessing helped me make the decision to move forward with IVF, knowing that this baby was so wanted by their dad, who unfortunately is no longer here. But Josh, made such a point to say, how cool would it be to have a little piece of me live on forever? And I could not agree more. He's the best guy I've ever known. And to have a little piece of him live on, and for him to trust me to do this on my own, just gave me that extra bit of confidence that I needed to make the decision to move forward with IVF.
Wow. You know what? Josh sounds like a really great guy. I'm sorry we didn't get to meet him. What a lot of people might forget, though, is going through IVF doesn't mean or guarantee that you will get a baby. So just talk to us. How is it going for you?
Yeah, and I don't even know that they forget. I think people just don't know what IVF even is. They hear the word, they know they have friends going through it, but that's also a huge reason why I choose to share my journey so publicly, just to shed light on this process and how brutal it is, not only financially in the US to go through IVF, but the emotional toll that it takes on you and the physical toll that it takes on you. So I started this process it's almost been 3 years now. And I've gone through 5 egg retrievals, multiple surgeries, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done besides trying to navigate life without my husband. And to your point, it's one of those things that you go into this brutal process. You're battling this fertility journey every day. And after thousands of dollars spent, probably $200,000 at the point, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to get a baby. And that's just part of the reality of IVF. And it's, a gamble.
Yeah. I wish you well. Fabi, you have been through so much. You are so strong. And I do believe that you're going to get your happy ending. I have to ask, are you afraid at all to do this alone?
Oh, fear is a funny thing. Yes, most of the things I do in my life, I do scared. And I've learned at a young age that most of the extraordinary things that we experience in life live and exist on the other side of fear. So, of course, going through IVF alone going through IVF period is brutal, but going through it alone is a whole nother ball game. And then the thought of raising a child on my own is, of course, scary. I think anybody going into motherhood, it's this unknown space that you think you can handle, but you're like, can I really? And luckily, I'm so blessed by the most extraordinary village that is not only my blood, but people who have been brought into my life through the experiences that I've been through, including loss and widowhood. And I have family that lives close by. So yes, it's scary, but it's not something that's ever going to hold me back from fulfilling this dream.
Are you dating currently, and how do men respond when you tell them?
I'm not actively dating. I'm very open to love. So if it happens to find me, I think it'll all work out. This person will realize that the reason they get this version of me is because of Josh and because of losing him and because of this baby. So the right open-minded person will understand.
Yeah.
Yes, amen to that. Fabi, you are incredible. We wish you all of our best. We will stay in touch with you.
Absolutely.
And learn about your journey and hopefully have you back on. If you would like to help, to our DBL Nation, if you would like to help Fabi on her IVF journey, please, you can visit her GoFundMe. Also, check out Fabi's nonprofit in honor of her husband at Josh Powell Cancer Foundation.org. Thank you so much, Fabi. We appreciate you. We do.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up on this special episode of DBL, 2 women who started their journey to motherhood in their 40s are joining us live to talk about how they started families without male partners.
Welcome back. Wendy and Abby's journey to motherhood began in their 40s when they decided to become single mothers by choice. Here is their story.
I started the fertility process when I was about 43, and I knew kind of going into it that I was starting late and that donor eggs were probably in the cards for me. I had gotten a donor who gave me all of the eggs from her cycle, and there were like 30 something eggs, and then I had like 17 embryos. So I think I used 10 of the embryos and couldn't get pregnant. So then I just dived into researching adoption, and I think that took about 2 years until I got the call that I was matched for my daughter.
I didn't start actually trying to get pregnant until I was like 42 or 43, same as Wendy. So I did 3 IUIs. I had considered fostering children. I had looked into adoption, but I was sort of at the end of my road.
Then one day, Abby called me and said, "Do you still have those embryos?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
So Wendy gave me 7 healthy embryos. I used 4 embryos to have 1 healthy baby. I was 1 month shy of 47 when I gave birth.
Wow, what a story. To tell us more, Wendy and Abby, join us live. Thank you.
So Abby, once Wendy donated the embryos to you, you actually got to transport the embryos yourself.
Wow,
so what was that experience like?
So wild. I mean, this is a fairly new field, and I didn't know that it was going to be my responsibility to take these embryos across New York City. And so I had to go to a fertility clinic, get the apparatus to bring the embryos across town, go get the embryos, because Wendy had a different reproductive endocrinologist as I did. There was a waiting period for that. It was very nerve-wracking. But I brought a girlfriend with me, and we did, I'm not Catholic, but we decided to go into St. Patrick's because it was right down the street, and we blessed all the embryos and had fun with it. And it was all about the girl power and having fun, and super trippy to do also.
That's amazing. Wow. Good female friendship there. Wendy, I wanted to ask you, what was the hardest, and may I add the word surprisingly hardest part of your journey in becoming a mother?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the nuts and bolts of trying to get pregnant or trying to adopt. And those, I mean, while they are hard, I found those kind of okay. Like I could do the shots, I could do the paperwork, but what was really hard that really kind of knocked me for a loop was just sort of the emotional turmoil in my head, which was really just all from my own self-doubt. Like, is this a legitimate pursuit? Are people going to laugh at me? Is this crazy? Are people going to tell me crazy? Am I going to be bad at this? Does the universe not want me to do this? Because you start thinking of that if, you know, after not being able to get pregnant or whatever, you know, and definitely I kept thinking this isn't a legitimate pursuit, which I thought was interesting. Use the word, but then, and I really tortured myself, as you know, one does, and then all of a sudden it happened, and I really wish that I had never done that, because I think I always knew I wanted to be a parent, and I wasn't really going to give up unless I kind of really had to for one reason or another. And I wish I had been a little easier on myself,
a little more compassionate. Thank you for that.
So Abby, I'm always like singing single parent praises on this show, but you chose to be a single parent. So what do you want people to know about that?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. It's a great question, and I love answering this question because I actually feel like I'm a trailblazer, if I do say so myself, and I encourage people to choose being a single parent. I say the challenges of parenting a child are nothing compared to the challenges of being in a bad relationship, and so if you find the right partner, I think that's a wonderful thing. I didn't, and I knew very late in life that I wanted to have a child, and it just feels like kind of breaking the fairy tale myth that we're all fed when we're younger. Feels like a really positive step for me. And so being a parent to Gala has been the gift of my life, and there's just nothing else that I would rather be doing with my time in my no.
Well, hats off to you. Hats off.
Yeah, wow. Say it loud.
Proud and loud. That's right.
What a pioneer, too. So, Wendy, what do you want women 40 and up to take away from your story?
I think just to, again, be easy on yourself, whatever your process is. And I think it's very individual for every woman. You know, some women may not be comfortable with adoption or, you know, one kind of treatment or another. And I think it's just very personal. And I think even the choice to decide to not have a child is a great choice. And one can have a beautiful life either way. And I would just say, don't do what I did and torture yourself, because there's just nothing in it for you. Like, go enjoy life. However you're going to do it, don't worry too. Well, you're going to worry, but like, try not to torture yourself like I did, because I could have been out partying or reading parenting books or something, or reading a book.
Yeah. It's inefficient. It's inefficient. Yeah.
Well, and so fun.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice. Abby,
one day the phone will ring, you know, and you'll be a parent.
Very true. Well, Abby, I'll ask you the same question. What do you want women 40 and up to take away from your story?
I talk about my story quite a bit. I have an Instagram account about it. I really think it's important for women to not feel any shame around their fertility journey and just never give up. I spoke to my reproductive endocrinologist a couple of years after I had my daughter, or a couple months after I had my daughter, and he was like, you just had the end in sight. And I kind of said to him, well, doesn't everybody have the end in sight? And he said, no, but you have to be very determined and get your girlfriends on board with you, get your family on board with you, get your male friends on board with you, form a team, and just don't give up.
I love it. I love it so much. Wendy and Abby, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. We appreciate you both. Thank you. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Steph, what do you have for us today?
Hi Tori and hello DBL Nation. I am so excited to show you the deals today, and trust me, they are pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Check out this. We have got the Philian H7 Sonic electric toothbrush with 8 brush heads. Ooh. So this doorbuster deal includes 1 toothbrush, 1 charging cable and 8 brush heads.
Nice.
And we've got it available in 6 colors. We have got black, chrome pink, ooh, light purple, yellow, ooh, light blue, and light green.
Cute.
And the doorbuster deals have been so popular, but we want to make sure that everyone can get their hands on them. So you guys, we've got a limit on these, 3 per customer.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay, so normally this toothbrush is $40.
Not bad, really.
We've got it for 10, so that's saving 75%.
$10.
$10.
For like a chrome pink toothbrush that works really well.
It's pretty awesome, and the check out this, Tori. I love this. This is the 2-pack iHome RotoSmart Indoor Auto Tracking Cameras.
What?
This deal includes 2 cameras, a charging cable, an adapter, and a mounting kit. So these cameras pan and tilt to capture movement better. They also have night vision for evening activity.
Whoa.
Installation and setup is so simple. They offer a crystal clear live stream video with Wi-Fi built in, and these will work with the app or Alexa and Google Home.
Oh my God, these are like magic.
I know, normally they're $84.
Okay.
But we've got it for $39.99, so that's saving up to 52%.
This could give you so much safety and security in your brain, knowing even with pets or with babies or with kids.
Absolutely.
Brilliant
Tori.
product and a lovely price.
And check out this, how cozy. We've got the Altavita Silvador Antimicrobial Superior Sheet Set.
Ooh.
So this deal includes 2 pillowcases, 1 flat sheet and 1 fitted sheet. We've got the set available in 5 colors: blue, gray, white, sand and green. And we have it all available in queen or king sizes.
Nice.
Normally this is $70.
Yeah, they can be pricey, the sheet set.
Oh, but we've got them for $29.99. That's saving up to 71%.
My savings dance. My savings dance. That's
I
so
love
cute.
it. And how nice are these colors?
Amazing. And for guests to have an extra set. And also, can I be honest, like sand is just a good neutral to always have.
And check out this, Tori. We've got a product from Apple today. It's the Apple iPhone leather wallet with MagSafe.
Ooh.
So this deal includes 1 leather wallet for iPhones, and they have a really strong magnet that will allow you to effortlessly snap it into place on the back of your phone. You'll be able to put 2 or 3 cards in it or a couple of dollar bills. More than 5,000 customers have given this a 5-star review. It's so handy. I've used them. Love it. So normally it's $64.
Oh, no.
We have it for just $23.99.
Yes.
That's saving 63%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or as always, you can scan the QR code on screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph. We'll be right back. Stay safe.
Are we going to all do something dressed like we are? We should do